When I think of the pandemic, I think of the worst week of my life. I was furloughed, I almost died in a car accident, and the pipes burst in my house, flooding the entire floor. All in all, not my best week. But during that week, a small-time actor I watched did something incredibly simple. He wore a safety pin to show people they weren't alone. He didn't do it for PR, he didn't do it for clout. He just did a kind thing without expecting anything in return. And if I hadn't seen that safety pin, if I hadn't been reminded that day that there were still kind and decent people in the world, I don't know if I ever would have kept going. And if I hadn't kept going, I never would have solved nuclear fusion. For 70 years, some of the smartest people on Earth have been trying to build a fusion reactor. And for 70 years, they've run into the same three problems. First, they struggle to get the fuel hot enough without wasting enormous amounts of energy. Second, they struggle to keep the plasma stable once it's formed. And third, the radiation destroys the solid walls of the machine, creating massive engineering problems and billion-dollar replacement cycles. For decades, the solution has been to build bigger machines, spend more money, and hope brute force gets us there. But I'm an independent inventor from Arkansas. I didn't have billions of dollars to spend, so I had to rethink the physics of it all. I had to ask myself how we fix this. What I came up with is called the Crockett Reactor. There is a three-pillar wall-less fusion architecture involved in it. First, instead of trying to heat the plasma from outside, the system uses high-velocity, time-delayed ablative fuel pellets that inject directly into the core, creating an inside-out ignition. Second, it uses a central surgical strike refueling system designed to stabilize the magnetic field and maintain control of the reaction. And third, it removes one of the biggest bottlenecks in fusion entirely, the degrading solid wall. The Crockett reactor uses a wall-less levitated core. The inner bottle is magnetically levitated inside a vacuum chamber and surrounded by a liquid molten salt blanket. No solid walls to degrade, no constant billion-dollar replacement cycles, just the possibility of scalable, clean, abundant energy. There's an African proverb that I heard once that says, if you don't think one person can make a difference, try sleeping in a tent with a mosquito. I currently hold the blueprints to more than 200 inventions, but I've made a decision about this one. I want to open source the Crockett reactor to the world. I don't want it to be locked away. I don't want it to be buried, and I don't want it to be kept behind paywalls, patents, or institutions that move too slowly while the planet burns. It belongs to the public. It belongs to you, because at some point we have to ask ourselves, to what do we owe each other? But to give this to the world, I need help. Big tech and big law do not exactly rush to fund a neurodivergent female inventor without trying to control the idea, steal the intellectual property, or bury the work. So I'm raising funds to build the Crockett reactor's digital twin. That funding will pay for the supercomputer cloud servers and the independent plasma physicists needed to run the final thermodynamic simulations. And once the math is validated, the full architecture goes online for free forever. The pandemic taught me that sometimes the bravest thing you can do is show up. I showed up with the blueprints. Now I'm asking you to help me build the sun. Thank you.